I started grinding from a really young age. I've done everything, bro. Worked in the butcher shop. I used to sell leather coats on Orchard Street.
Yeah.
I've done retail. Bro, I was even a clown in the dunk tank.
My man was on season 1 of
Yo Mama.
Oh, shit, for real?
Yeah,
so,
bro. You're looking at the champion of season 1, dog.
Oh, for real?
Well, you know what's really popular right now is military challenge coins, but nobody's building displays for them. Wouldn't it be cool if somebody could build really cool displays shaped like an aircraft carrier? We ended up building 6 coin holders. I posted on my personal Facebook. I was like, hey, check out this thing I just built. What do y'all think of this? Bing, bing.
It went crazy.
Bing, 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 bing. And shut up and take my money. How much? How do I get one? I tell my wife, like, I think we onto something.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Think About It podcast. I am your boy, Big A.
Your boy Joe was good.
And today's guest is my cousin, my blood cousin. I'm excited to have this man here today, Will Vega from Sailor Made Woodworks. What's going on, bro?
Oh, not much. Thank you for
Man,
having
this
me on
has
the
been
show
a
today.
long time, bro.
For real.
This had to happen from like forever ago, and I finally got you on here. I'm excited to have you, bro.
Yeah, I remember you talking about like the concept of just even doing this podcast.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it, man.
I'm an open book. What y'all got? What you want?
We want to hear your story, bro.
We want your introduction, bro. Let's start off real simple. What's your name and where you from and what you do?
That's it.
So, Will Vega, born and raised in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Grew up there till I was 18 years old, and then ended up joining the Navy. Man, did 21 years and a half.
17-year-old dad.
Yeah, I became a dad at 17. That was one of the main reasons why I decided to even join the military, is because I became a dad at a young age.
Yeah.
And I call it a violent shove into adulthood. You know,
That was normal for us back then, though, bro.
yeah.
You know, I was normal. That was regular, bro. Yeah.
So, you know, just wanting to do something a little more than just, you know, I was grinding, man. I've always grinded. I've been working since I was 10 years old.
Yes, sir.
Had my first job delivering meat for a butcher shop with my grandfather.
Okay.
So my grandfather Tite, he passed away back in 2019, but that was the man that like instilled my work ethic, what it meant to be a dad, what it meant to just like love unconditionally for someone. That man, every single weekend he could pick me up, he would, and he just would instill in me like this amazing work ethic, and like said, anything you want to get in this life, you have to use your hands and make it happen.
I wasn't ready for this one.
Yeah,
It's the best uncle I ever had.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, some of my best childhood memories were with him. You know what I mean? Like, just old school Puerto Rican dude that just loved to smoke Marlboros, but he
Bro, he used to take me fishing, and he would make me fish with a Budweiser can with just
The string?
bro. It
Yeah.
was so fire, bro.
man. And like he would just, but like when I tell you that man would get up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to be at that butcher shop by 5 a.m.
Yep.
And he would take me with him. Every weekend I was with him, he's like, "Levántate, nos vamos." Like,
go.
get up, let's go, we're going.
No excuses, bro.
And at 10 years old, I'm hauling freaking half racks of lamb on my
Yes, bro.
on my shoulder, and wearing the butcher coat,
Yes.
getting into the delivery truck, and going all over New York City, all over Manhattan, delivering to these restaurants.
Yep.
You know,
Piccinini brothers.
the Piccinini brothers.
Yes,
yeah.
bro. Don't forget. You know how I know that? Because he used to pick me up in that van to take me to baseball games, bro. And it was the bloody jacket and everything, bro. It was so fire, bro. Like I could still remember that nasty smell.
The smell
bro.
of the
It was a maroon van.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah,
Like a
yeah, the
maroon
maroon red
Damn,
van.
bro.
yeah.
We're talking 30 plus years, bro, ago.
It's a long time. So that
I was a child. I was 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
I'm 46. So we're talking 4 decades, bro.
Is that butcher stop still in the family?
I have no idea.
Well, it wasn't a family-owned business.
Oh, it wasn't a family-owned.
He worked. He was just a
Got it.
butcher there.
Yeah.
But that man, like, just when I tell you, if he had $20 in his pocket, he'd give you 15 of it, just to
100%.
make sure like you were good. You know, like he would pay me $20 a day to work at the butcher shop with him, and it just instilled something like in me where it was like, yo, work hard, you get paid, you're gonna do what you need to do, and you know, always make sure you take care of yourself and take care of your family. You know, and that man just, when I tell you, I am where I am today because of the values that he instilled in me. You know, I started grinding from a really young age. I've done everything, bro. When I tell you, worked in the butcher shop. I used to sell leather coats on Orchard Street. down in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I've done retail. I was even a clown in the dunk tank. Like I used to travel around.
Yes, bro.
I'm not
Yes.
even. I kid you not, man. I
Yes.
used to literally, from the age of 13 till I was 26, I would go and travel around as a clown in the dunk tank, and I would get paid to insult people. So like, even when I was still in active duty military, I would go home on freaking leave and I would take there's a feast called the Feast of St. Generos in Manhattan.
Yes, love
And
it.
it was a 10-day feast
On
and-
Houston Street,
yeah,
like
on Mulberry Street, right in Little
yes,
Italy.
Yes, bro.
And I would go, and I would take vacation or leave. They call it leave. Well, I'd
What
take
a great
vacation.
time, by the way.
Yeah.
St. Gennaro's was.
I never really got to enjoy it because I was always in the
Oh,
tank.
well, let me tell you, as a person who enjoyed it, those Italian sausages, the Zeppelis, and you just walked around, bro, and it was like, it was so peace, bro. It was beautiful, bro. Like, it was no beef. Everybody was chilling. It was always a good time, bro.
Yeah,
Man,
that legit became like my outlet, my therapy. Like any frustration I gathered up throughout the year, I would let it out there because it was one of those games where you throw the ball, you knock the clown in the water, and he gets back up and he insults you again. So like I was that guy. So I started off when I was 13 years old and on a whim because before that I would work those carnivals tying balloons for the dart game. You throw the dart, pop the balloon. I was the balloon boy. I would tie up the balloons, fill them a bag, and whenever one get popped, I reach my hand up, pull the dart out, put the balloon in, give the dart back to the guy.
That's what's
and they
up.
would freaking hustle people for money.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
dude start off with $5, $300 later, he's walking away with a teddy bear. You know, and I was on break. And I walked down the other end of the feast to take a look, and the owner was just going nuts and like, oh, where the hell's? He's like, and I just hear him like freaking out. I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, I'm supposed to have this clown. This guy was supposed to show up. He didn't show up, and I need someone in the tank. And I was like, well, how much you paying? He's like, oh, I think it was like at the time I was 30. He was like $7 an hour. I was like, I'll do that for $7 an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like,
Sounds about
really?
right for the time. Yeah.
He's like, you really? You getting it? I was like, yeah. What I need
Yeah,
to do?
yeah,
hell
He's like,
yeah.
get dressed. He gave me a wetsuit, gave me a freaking jumpsuit that went over it, and he gave me this clown mask. He's like, all you got to do, don't curse and make fun of people, you know. And they're gonna get you in the water. You get back up and you make fun of them again.
That's beautiful.
And I clinged onto it quickly, man. It was just it kind of became this drug for me. Like
Yeah.
that was the where I would like really go and let it all out. Any frustration I had throughout the year, I let
Talking
it out
shit.
that year.
That's
it was
so
just
fire,
it was
right?
just- and it got to the point where they had to put a sign on the side of the tank like, if you don't have a sense of humor, you need to walk away.
Yeah.
You know, this don't take it personal. This is just a game. And I would go in on people, bro. Like somebody would spend freaking $20, $30 just to get me in the water, and they'd finally get in. It would get to the point where I would have 1,000 people around the dunk tank. I'm not even kidding you.
Wow,
About 1,000
that's
people around the
crazy.
dunk tank laughing. Like anytime I would fall in, you hear the whole place erupt. Rah! I get in, and then I get up and I'd be like, "Oh, I bet you feel real good. Now you can run home and tell mommy you finally got somebody wet."
That's great.
So I would say stuff like that, and people would be like, "Oh my God, this dude's crazy.
That's
This
great.
dude's on a, you know." So that literally was just my thing, and I would hustle and do that. I used to sell sneakers. I used to sell DVDs. I anything. I even cut hair for a really long time.
That's right. That's right.
I became a self-taught barber and then helped some barbershops in California start their business. And I was the guy they would bring in to teach the younger barbers how to hustle. So they would purposely put me in the back row, and at the very last seat. And I would wait for walk-ins to come in while I'm cutting hair. And walk-in would come in, and the other dudes would slack, and I'd be like, "Hey, who you waiting for? You ain't got nobody? All right, I got you
I'll
next.
take you.
I got you
Yeah.
right after him. Just take
Yeah.
a seat. I got y'all. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Be patient."
Yeah.
And the other dudes would be like, "Yo, what the hell? He just snatched up 2 walk-ins like that." And the owners would be like, "My man,
Yeah.
you be hungry."
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Yo, be on your
That's the
game,
grind,
Be on your
baby."
grind." And I would just do that. And this was while I was on active duty, so I was accustomed. Like I said, work ethic was on another level. So
100%.
I would be on, I would work my normal military job during the day in the Navy. I was an aviation electronics technician. I would repair electronics down to a microscopic level during the day, and then as soon as my day was over, I head over to the barbershop and I cut for a few hours, and then I would cut on the weekends. And I was just constantly on the way to like grind. But my biggest motivation was, one, to make sure that I would break the cycle of my family before me. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in the projects. I grew up dirt poor.
Sure did.
Didn't really have much to my name. You know, my mom would buy us sneakers from Payless.
Yeah.
And I would get beat up because I was wearing Payless sneakers. You know, deal with all that, just the grind of growing up in New York City.
Yeah.
You know, but I always believe in life, period, like you're gonna learn no matter what experience you have. You can either learn what to do or not to do, or what you're not to do, but either way you're gonna learn. And I would just get on my grind, you know? And like I didn't let my situation define me. I let it power me and push me and motivate me to be just wanna do better, not just for me, but for my daughter. You know, being such a young dad, like no matter where I was around the world, she was always at the forefront of my mind. Even when I was doing those when I would come home,
So you
on
made
leave,
no excuses?
none, brother. And I'll tell you, man, like it was just nonstop grind for me all my life. But I don't regret any single moment, man, because like where I look into where I'm at now, I'm super grateful, you know.
Hold on, before we get there though, my man was on season 1 of
Yo Mama.
Remember that?
Oh, shit, for real?
Yeah,
So,
bro.
Your mama.
You talking about you're looking at the champion of season 1, dog.
Oh, for real?
Well, I won my episode. I wasn't the champion.
Yeah.
I won my
Sorry.
episode. So the dunk tank, I was at the dunk tank and I literally on a roll. And this girl comes out and she's like she's yelling out to me, "Oh my God, you're hilarious. Oh, you're so freaking funny. Oh my God." And I'm like, "Oh, shut up, you're freaking drunk." And everybody's laughing. She's like, "No, I'm serious. I'm on the phone right now with a producer from MTV and we've been listening for the last 30 minutes. He wants to talk to you." I'm like, "Please don't waste my time." Like no, she's like, "No, I'm dead serious." So I jump out the dunk tank and I get on the phone and the dude's like, he's like, "I have literally been listening to you for the last 30 minutes and you are hilarious. We're doing this new show called Your Mama and we want you to be on it. Would you be willing to come and audition?" And I was like, "Well, okay, give me the date and time." I got the dude's number and I went and did the audition. He had me audition in a hotel. And at first I was like, why am I auditioning in a hotel?
Crazy.
I was like,
yeah.
Am I going to end up on the couch? You know what I mean? This ain't that kind of
For real,
you know what I mean? Like,
chill. What's going on here?
But it was legit. It was a legit audition.
Yeah.
And the dude he couldn't keep a straight face. He was laughing the whole time.
For sure.
And he asked me to bring somebody to snap on. So I brought one of the dudes that I was training to be the clown from when I wasn't there.
Okay.
With the owner. So I brought him and me and we're just going back and forth for that. He's like, "Dude, you're hilarious. We definitely want you. I'm gonna get back to you." I was like, "Well, I'm home on leave," because I was living in California at the time, and they were auditioning me in New York. And I'm like, "Well, I'm only here for a couple more days. I'm in the Navy. They don't care what's going on. When this expires, I need to be at this place at this time.
Yes,
there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So if you're gonna get back to me, you need to get back to me before then, so I can figure out what we're gonna do." Because they made it seem like they were gonna record right away, and so I was like, "Oh man, well." You know, because they were displaying the whole concept about they can stop by your house and do all this. And I'm just like, well, I got family here. I could potentially crash at their house and we can do it that way or whatever. And then didn't hear from them. I literally get back on the plane. As soon as I land, I turn my phone on, voicemail. "Hey, this is so-and-so from your mama. So we really, really want you to do the show, but we want you to come out and do one more audition."
Oh my God.
And I call them and I said, "Listen, I told y'all I'm in the military. I'm back in California." I said, "If you ever decide to do the show in California, give me a call. I'll be glad to do it." And I thought it was over. I left it at that. Was going about my business. I get a call probably like a month later. And they're like, "Hey, this is so-and-so again from your mama. So we decided to do a show in California and we want you to do this." They're like, "The only thing is, would you be willing to say you're from Orange County?" I said, "Put me on TV. I'll represent Alaska. Eskimo, baby." You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, just give me a shot. You know what I mean? Give me a shot. I got this.
Let's do this.
And so we did. And like, it's kind of crazy. It gave me a real insight onto how TV really happens. You know, you think it's like, one just solid production, just go. When it's done, they edit and they send it on its way. Nah, so the show makes it look like it all happens in one day.
Right.
But it's actually 3 days. So the first day is you on the beach, right? So my episode was on the beach because it was Orange County, right?
Yeah.
So on the beach, I'm doing my thing, killing it. I battle a whole group, and then I ended up getting selected for me and this one other dude get selected to face off as a final battle kind of thing to be the winner of Orange County. So I'm doing my thing. I'm just murdering everybody. And then the producer comes over to me. He's like, "Hey, we haven't got a background check on you yet," and this and that. He starts giving me this whole line. I'm like,
"Bro, I'm in the Navy. I'm in the Navy, bro."
Yeah.
You know, I have a secret clearance. Like this, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, "Well, you know, if something comes back and you turn out to be a murderer," and I'm just like, "Oh my God." I wouldn't be in the Navy if I was a murderer.
Real,
like they do warrants.
There's no background check that you can do that the Navy hasn't done, bro.
Basically. So I tell him, and he's just like, "All right, well, we're gonna go through with it." And so I battled the dude, and I end up winning. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. Where's my money? They're like, no. So we got to do there's another Echo Park was the other part of California that I was going against. So it was like Orange County versus Echo Park. They were doing their thing, right? And then I guess on the same day. Yeah. But day 2 was filming I had to film at the winner of Echo Park's apartment, and she was filming at my apartment, and they were basically looking for dirt inside your apartment.
Oh, yeah, I remember that shit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I remember
To
that.
battle out
Yeah.
right at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
so they sent me I meet Wilma Valderrama at this chick's apartment. She's living in a studio apartment. It was a 1-room apartment. Like
Oh wow.
literally,
You walked in and
the
that was
door.
it?
Yeah, you walked in, living room, kitchen, closet, all that was just right there, and then there was
Oh,
a bathroom.
wow.
That's it. You know. So and they obviously they end up planting stuff around the house
Sure.
to give you some extra stuff to kind of be
course,
funny
of
with or
course.
whatever. And we do our thing. She goes to my place. She does her thing, and then we go and battle it out for the final, which is at the top of a garage in LA.
Oh, okay.
So we end up so day 3 is us filming. Now it's me and her actually with all the stuff that we got from each other's apartments, and we go at it. And we're just freaking going in. Some other dude who I guess was a writer for the show was I don't know if he was enamored with her or whatever. He's like, oh, I went over your jokes. You can't say this joke. You have to say this joke. Like, because they made me also write some of the jokes that I was gonna say for like my final knockout joke.
Yeah.
They're like, we want to make sure there's nothing that's like that you're not supposed to say. And so the dude's like, oh yeah, you can't say this joke. So I ended up saying a joke that was kind of like it was a low blow, but it wasn't a knockout punch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then the producers were like, cut. Like, hey, what happened to this joke? And I was like, well, one of your writers came up to me and told me to say it. Like, oh, hell no. Like, no, you're going to say this joke.
Oh shit! So maybe it was really for real.
So I come in and
Crazy.
I'm like, boom. So do you want to hear the joke? I'll tell you what the joke is.
Yeah. Go for it.
So I'm going up against this young lady. She was originally from New Jersey.
Okay.
And so I'm like, hey, so if you didn't have a head, you wouldn't wear a hat, right? And if you didn't have feet, you wouldn't wear shoes, right? And if you didn't have hands, you wouldn't wear gloves, right? And she's like, yeah. I was like, so why are you wearing a bra?
Oh shit.
And everybody lost it, to include
shit.
Wilmer and the 2 guys that was
That's
listening with him.
crazy.
They freaking went completely nuts, and that was like the knockout blow
For sure.
And then I ended up getting $1,000 for it. So
Okay.
yeah, man, and it was a cool experience.
For sure,
It was
for
a really,
sure.
really cool experience. I enjoyed that a lot. And thought I was gonna be able to do more with that. Like I was like, oh man, maybe this will give me an opportunity to get into stand up because I really love. I love comedy. I'm
We
a
love
huge
it. We
comedy
love it.
fan. A and I like constantly
What?
catching comedy shows.
Oh, yeah.
we got a comedic bucket list that we checking
Yeah.
off.
And we're
So,
knocking it out
yeah.
one by one.
Yeah, we got Kill Tony coming up.
We seen Dave Chappelle
we
together.
never seen Dave
We
Chappelle.
seen Fluffy together.
Fluffy, yep.
We're gonna go see Kill Tony together.
So Tony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're about to
I'm
see
waiting for
Burt
that dude.
Kreischer.
Waiting for that dude that sings come around town.
Oh, Jay Morgan.
Yeah.
But his tickets are like $1,000, bro.
No.
Yo, look him up, bro. Yeah, and they're sold out. He's on Matt Rife's level right now, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So like for me, like I was like, man, once this show airs, this may be a little thing that give me some notoriety, and maybe I could start doing some stand up and all that.
Yes.
But you know the unexpected life of a Navy sailor, I get selected to go on deployment.
Oh.
So while I'm on deployment, so I came back off of deployment. I had already done a deployment. I was on a 7-month deployment. Came back, then ended up filming for Your Mama, did all that, and then got selected again 4 months later to go on deployment because one of the dudes blew out his ACL. So I wasn't even supposed to be out to sea. Ended up out to sea anyway, and while I was out to sea, they aired the show. So I pulled into Japan, and all my phone was like going off, and I'm like, "Yo, you're on TV, you're on this, you're on that," and I'm like,
that's fire.
and here I am on the other side of the world where nobody knows who the heck I am.
Yeah.
So my 15 seconds of fame, I was on deployment. I didn't really get to enjoy any of that.
It's okay.
I got home. I ended up going home after that second deployment, and there was a couple people like, "Oh, I saw you on TV, bro. Orange County, huh?" Because I grew up in the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
Does that show ever air anymore? Do you continuously get residual income from that?
Nah, there was no residuals from that. Nah. I ended up I won $1,000 for that. I ended up getting like a PlayStation Portable, and there was one of another like $300 check from that. That was it.
Nice.
But I took that money and I gave it to my mom so she could help pay her
dope.
mortgage.
That's how we get it done.
I was, like I said, I was at a point in my life where I was focused and I hustled, man. So like even when I was on that second deployment and even on that first deployment, I was cutting hair. I was cutting hair, making money on the side, and then I would save that money. I wasn't spending it on anything. I pulled into Bahrain. I went into the bank, the Navy Federal Bank that I was banking with at the time, and I dropped my balance on my car payment right on there. I'm like, here you go, pay that off.
Let's go.
And I just was on that. I was in that mindset of always like, I want to make sure that I don't ever want debt to be the thing that holds me down. So I just hustled and grinded. And even after the Yo Mama thing, like I made the Navy I took everything that I could out of the Navy as far as like how my work ethic could push me in a place that would allow me to have more responsibility, but allow me to have more impact and improve the things that were happening around me. And I just always was just on that mode of grinding. And so even when I got later on into my career, I started thinking about like, all right, at 20 years, I could be fully retired, which I retired at 21 years and 7 months, right?
How old were you?
I was about to be 40 years old, and I was fully retired. So
You retired on September 11th, 2020.
Oh,
Yeah.
for real?
yeah,
9/11, bro. I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
You said you retired at 40. How old are you?
I'll be 45 in October.
Yep,
Holy
October.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We're 2 years apart. I'll be 47
looking
in
young.
September. Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, crazy,
I
right?
thought you were in maybe your mid to early or late to 30s or something like that.
Let's go.
appreciate it. Thank you.
We take that. We take it. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, Dad, for my jeans. You know.
Yo, serious. His pops is 65, though.
Yeah.
He looks great, bro. Great. My older brother that's 60 looks better
Yeah.
than me. Yeah, I don't know what it was, bro. It was something they put in the infamill back then, bro. It was crazy, bro. For real.
Yeah, man. And shoot, like even when I started getting into that mindset of like, okay, what is life? Because everybody has an expiration date when it comes to tight in the military.
Yeah.
The most you can do is 30 years. I knew after 20, I had already did the numbers and knew that I was going to be working for half the pay. Because you at that time, you were guaranteed 50% of your base pay for the rest of your life after you retire for 20 years. So I had to think about like, all right, am I going to continue to do this knowing that I'm basically working for half the money, right? Plus, I got to do a whole bunch of really crazy things throughout my career.
sure.
At one point, I went back home to recruit out of New York and ended up becoming what they call a spec war coordinator. So my main job was to like recruit SEALs, SWIG, EOD diver, and search and rescue. And I spent 2 years doing that. That was probably the most rewarding job I ever had in the Navy.
Oh, beautiful.
Where like I spent 5 days a week training, guiding, motivating, and mentoring the future warriors of this country. People that went on to become Navy SEALs, some that are no longer with us because they, passed away, being killed in action, and some that are now passing they're done their time and now are doing amazing things out there.
That's beautiful, man.
Outside of the military, just kind of making a difference.
For sure.
Shout out to Frankie Maggs if he's listening.
There you go.
But yeah, I look back and I think about every single opportunity that happened and came through, and it was just one of those things that I knew like I had to, one, share my story, but two, I needed to do something that was going to be able to leave a lasting legacy, not just for myself but for my family. Because now, married, I got 2 younger kids. My oldest is 27. I got 2 grandbabies.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah, I got a grandson who's 3. My granddaughter's 1.
Yeah.
And I live and breathe for my family and my kids, man. Like,
Sure does.
That's my number one drive for
100%.
everything that I do. When I wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, it's like if I don't get up right now, something's gonna slip, and it's a chance that it will ripple and affect something that's gonna happen for them. So that's what gets me up, and I grind. And when it came to like deciding if I was gonna retire, and when I got to my thing was really when I started figuring out if I wanted to be a business owner, if I wanted to get back on the grind and just work for someone else and collect a paycheck. And I just knew I ended up putting together a gift for a mentor of mine. This was in 2016. I built a shadow box, but it wasn't, I had bought the shadow box itself, but I put everything together for him. And then ordered this Master Chief anchor, 3D carved out of wood. And then I had started a group chat on Facebook with everybody that I knew that had served with this mentor of mine, and just asked them to send me a collar device off their uniform. It was their rank that goes on their collar.
Oh,
and I was like, hey, if this person, his name's Dave Lynch, he's a retired Force Master Chief out in Montana. Shout out to Dave Lynch. I was like, hey, if Dave ever made an impact in your life, I want you to send me a collar device, and I'm gonna put it into a gift for him. And I ended up getting a little over 100. It was 100, probably 150 collar devices.
Damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was something insane.
That's
and
crazy.
The night before his retirement, I'm in the Navy Lodge in Washington, and I remember just putting this thing together, not knowing what it was going to look like or what it was going to be, but I was just like, I have this vision in my head. And I placed the Master Chief anchor in there. I got that screwed in, and I just started cutting off all these pins and laying them out with a ruler intricately to just row by row. And next thing I knew, I had like all these collar devices from as low as the E2 all the way up to 07, which is like a admiral, a rear admiral. So like I had all these people sending me these collar devices because this man had made such a huge impact in the Navy.
Their lives.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, man, I really hope that this expresses what he really meant and how the Navy's a better place because of him. So at his ceremony, I presented this to him, and nobody knew I was doing this. I kind of bogarted the MC, and I was like, hey, I need 3 minutes. She's like, you're not on. I don't care. Find 3 minutes. I want to be in there. And it was Tanya Billingsley. She's like, it's like, what you always doing the most? You know, I love that. The most. I'm like, sis, give me the minutes I need. I just want to present something cool. And she found the time, got me snuck in there, and I was able to present this to him at a ceremony. And I said, hey, Dave, because mind you, he had this dude did 34 years.
Oh, wow.
He had this massive entertainment system of a shadow box built. Like, had this guy was a master carpenter and built this freaking beautiful display for him. And here I am with this box. But I wanted that to have just as much of an impact as this big. Of course. So I told him, I said, I want you to look at this. And if there's ever a day when you're sitting back enjoying your retirement and you're wondering if it was worth it or if you made a difference, all you need to do is look at this box. Each one of these devices represents a life that you touched, and know that the Navy's better because of you. And I presented to him, and I even put LED lights inside of it. So I was like, and so I hit him. I had the remote in my pocket, hit him with the lights, and boom! Everyone's like, "Oh!" You know, got the pop, got the reaction. I was like, "This is cool," you know, like. And I knew it meant a lot to him.
For sure.
He was having a house built in Montana at the time. He's still there now, but he built he has a bottom floor. His entire bottom floor is like an entertainment room. It's got a bar, it's got a video game, it's got a huge movie screen and the whole 9 yards. But he built that whole room around that box.
Oh, wow.
And his shadow box at the end. That's his like centerpiece.
Wow.
And so after his ceremony, everybody was like, yo, where did you come up with that idea? Like, that was such a thoughtful gift. And people were like, people pay big bucks for ideas like that.
Sure.
So light bulb in my head started to flicker. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. That same weekend, I go and visit my best friend, Jason Stanton, up in Washington. And we just start talking about life after the military. Told him what happened at the ceremony. And we're talking, and we're having a beer. We start talking about different businesses. Start talking about food trucks. Start talking about all these different, like, business ideas. Because it was like, yo, after 20 years of being told where to be, what to dress, what to wear, what to think, what to do, like, wouldn't it be nice to just be your own boss? Yeah. And I was like, well, yeah, let's figure something out. So then I told him about the shadow box, and I said, you know what's really popular right now is military challenge coins. So this was 2016, summer of 2016, and military challenge coins were blowing up within the military community. I was like, these coins are getting really crazy. There's super intricate designs and all kinds of really cool stuff, but nobody's building displays for them. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody could build really cool displays, maybe shaped like an aircraft carrier? He was a P3 guy. We worked on P3 Orions, this type of aircraft, military aircraft. So then they had these huge propellers. I was like, what if we built one in the propeller and painted it to look like a propeller, and then you can rest the coins on there? And I was like, what if we do one that's shaped like an aircraft carrier, and we put the coins on the top of the carrier, so it looks like the coins are just resting at the flight deck?
You guys are just talking at this point.
Yeah, we're just talking at this point, right? Just
brainstorming.
Because we were looking at machines. We're looking at these CNC machines that were like $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, and I was like,
which looks and sounds insane,
right? And I'm like, what are two guys can do right now? They're drinking beer. He's like, well, I got a table, so I got a bunch of stuff, woodworking stuff in my garage. Let's run over to Home Depot. Let's grab some stuff and let's see what we can build this week. Let's see if it's feasible. And in that weekend, we ended up building 6 coin holders, 3 in the shape of a carrier, 3 in the shape of a P3 propeller.
Oh, wow.
All in that one weekend?
Yep, all in that one weekend. Between him and I.
That's a quick movement right there.
Yeah, bro.
We just grinded. Like, man, I remember getting pictures and tracing out the pictures so that we knew we carved it all out, sanded it to make it look like each one of those things. And
were you using a router or something?
No, it was just a skill saw. We used a skill saw and a table saw.
Wow.
And then a bunch of like hand tools and stuff like that.
Sure.
So we get it, we all sand it, get it all done, and then we ended up was like, yo, you know what, take this over the top, we should paint it. So like the P3 propeller is like gray, white, and red. It has like these individual stripes that make it stand out as a P3 propeller. So we took spray paint and tape and we painted and spray painted. I painted the carrier. I painted 2 of the carriers gray to look like a haze gray aircraft carrier. And I was like, man, this is kind of legit. So he ended up keeping one of the carriers and 2 of the P3 propellers because he was a P3 guy. I was a carrier guy, so I kept 2 of the carriers and 1 of the P3 propellers. And went about my day. Went back to work in Cali the next couple days. Happened to be walking down the hallway with one of my carriers, and I was taking it to my office, and I get stopped by the civilian, and he's like, "Hey, what you got there, senior?" They just call me senior, so senior. And I was like, "Oh, it's an aircraft carrier coin holder." And he's like, "Where did you get that?" He's like, "I have literally been scouring the internet forever." He was a former E2 pilot, and all his coins were from the different squadrons that he flew, and all his landings were on top of aircraft carriers. He's like, all I've ever wanted was a coin holder to put my coins on the top of an aircraft carrier. He's like, I could not find that anywhere. And so like I said, well, I made it this weekend. He's like, you made that? He's like, yeah. He's like, can I buy it off of you? I was like, well, yeah, I have another one. Sure, why not? He's like, how much do you want? And like, mind you, it was made out of pine. It was spray painted.
Sure.
I was like, just give me $60, man. It'll be fine. And it was like, I just made it for fun. Like, just give me $60. And he's like, $60? He's like, I pay you way more than that. Are you sure? Now the light bulb's like,
wait a minute.
I was like, okay. I was like, I'm a man of my word. $60. Just give me 60.
I'm cool with 60. Whatever's you think it's worth. Thank you. But
he ran off, grabbed his wallet, came back with $60, happy as can be. Wow. I went about my business. Very next day, hey, I saw that carrier coin holder you built for Mr. G.
Can you make me one?
Can you make me one in the shape of California State? I was like, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
Right. So went to Home Depot, bought me a table saw, bought me a skill saw, got some hand tools, and I started freaking making this coin holder. I cut it out, and I was like,
were you doing this in your garage?
In my garage. This was in my garage in California. In Oxnard. So I was like, babe, I'm gonna start woodworking. I need you to park your car in the street. And she's like, really? I'm like, yep, park it in the street. At night, I'll pull it in here, but I'm gonna be woodworking in the garage. And so I built this coin holder just right after work. All I would do was just get to the garage and start grinding and cutting this thing out. Cut it out, built it for her, and presented it to her. And she was like, this is beautiful. Thank you so much. Super happy. Went about my day.
Did you paint it also?
No, this one didn't get painted.
Just raw wood?
I found a really nice hardwood, and I made it out of that. So actually, I learned a really hard lesson that day.
What was that?
It was Purple Heart was the type of wood. It's super expensive, super hard.
The wood is called Purple Heart?
Yeah, it's called Purple Heart.
Oh, wow.
It has a purplish tint to it.
It's just funny because Purple Heart is a military.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. I never heard of Purple Heart wood.
Yeah. So I freaking thinking like, I can cut this with a tip. It was one of the hardest woods they ever cut.
Really?
But I found a way, made it happen, sanded it, and I was like, I'm never doing that again.
Love it.
I cut it. She loves it, and then I get hey, I saw that California. Could you do one in the state, Washington State, but can you make it look like a tree? It's like, all right. So I got a little bit of a softer wood. I went to like the local lumber store. Got a little bit of softer wood. Still a hardwood, but not as dense as the Purple Heart. So make it a little easier for me. Cut it out in the shape of Washington State. Paint it green. Paint the base of it brown to look like a tree trunk.
Sure.
And I was like, here you go, man. Loved it. And then I get hey, I saw that Washington one. Can you build me one in the state of Texas?
Word of mouth, bro.
All right.
Word of mouth.
I build the Texas coin holder one now, and he's like, yo, he's my man's from Texas. He's like, everything's bigger in Texas, so it's got to be 2 foot by 2 foot. I want it angled. I want the Texas flag on it, and I was like, oh man, I'll figure it out. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So I built this thing, and I'm like, man, this thing actually looks pretty cool. Like I'm not even from Texas, and I'll probably use this,
Yeah.
So I posted on Facebook. I posted on my personal Facebook. I was like, hey, check out this thing I just built. What do y'all think of this? Bing, bing.
It went
bing,
crazy.
Bing. Bing, 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 bing. And shut up and take my money. How much? How do I get one? And I'm like, baby, I think I'm on something. I tell my wife, like, I think we on to something.
At that point, though, I know you charged the other dude $60. That how you helped him out. What were you charging those people to do it afterwards? Was it still $60?
No, it was like $150.
Okay,
I was charging like $150.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. I definitely upped my prices.
Yeah.
And just because
the light bulb moment. The light when the moment was like 60.
So I'm saying when the second person started asking. So
Yeah.
that first person was the one that got really glad.
Yeah, he got
That's fire.
And next thing I knew, it was just I was building just Texas coin holders for such a long time because every time I posted it, someone from Texas would pop out of the woodworks and be like, hey, no pun intended, right? It popped out, and it's just like, I want this. So I'm just building. But I had gotten into this mindset that I thought back, and I was like, I could take this money because I used to have, I had a bunch of side hustles, and I would always take it and waste it on something stupid.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could take this thing. If this is meant to be something, because I just left it to God and I prayed, and I was just like, God, if this is meant to be something, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna water it and I want you to let it grow. And I just kind of made a deal where I was just like, I'm not gonna take any of this money for myself. Any money that I make from this business, I'm putting right back into it, and I'm gonna let it feed itself. And that's where it kind of just started kicking off. And so every time I sold the coin holder, I put the money away, or I would buy another tool that I needed and just reinvest it right back into it. I did that for about a little less than a year. Within a year, I had enough money to buy my first CNC machine. So the machines that I was like, oh man, I found one that was like, it was right borderline hobby industrial one.
Okay.
And it was like, it was about $4 or $5 grand to pay for this thing. And I bought it, taught myself. And now I was like, I got this machine. How the heck do I use it? So I went to YouTube University, started watching videos, started like messing with the software, and like literally just like had to get on my grind and figure this thing out. And as soon as I learned how to operate this machine, I was like, I need to turn this into another machine. Like I need to make enough money from this machine to buy another machine. And that's literally became my. I would go to the gym at 3 a.m, work out till with my sister-in-law. I would work out with my sister-in-law till about 5, get home, shower, get to work, be at work by 7, and then work from 7 till usually like 4 o'clock, and then go right into the garage and work from 4:30 till sometimes midnight. And I was living on like 3 hours of sleep, just grinding, building these things and grinding.
So wait a minute, again, no excuses?
No excuses.
What? This is crazy. Come on, bro.
And
that's the moral of the story, bro. There's no excuses, bro.
So by the time I ended up getting orders out here to Florida in 2017. So mind you, this started in 2016. By the time I moved here in 2017, I had 2 CNC machines and a bunch of woodworking tools. And then I ended up getting orders out here. And it was kind of one of those things that when I moved out here, I was like, if this is meant to be something, I need to really focus and grind. We ended up buying a house down in Palm Bay. And at the time, it was this massive house, but I got in right at the right time. It was 4,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, 2-car garage.
2-story.
Yeah, 2-story.
Yeah.
And I turned the garage into a full-blown wood shop. Like we weren't even nobody was allowed to park in the garage. It was just straight up a wood shop.
The business.
I turned my lanai into a spray booth.
Okay. Oh.
And I had this nook in the kitchen that we turned into like a painting area. And like literally would just be garage there, lanai, garage there, lanai. And I was just spending my days. It got to the point where the machines would be running and I would just set a timer. So like the machine would tell you like, hey, this part of the job is going to take 1 hour and 45 minutes. I would set a timer for 1 hour and 30 and nap. I would nap on the couch in the living room so I wouldn't wake up my wife and kids. And I would just sleep, and the timer would go off. I get up, change out the bit, or move out the next piece, put it back on, and then sleep for another 30 minutes. And I would just work around the clock until 6 a.m., shower, and then go right back to work. And in the beginning, man, it was rough. Like I did that for 2 years, just nonstop. Basically, didn't really go on any vacations. Didn't really do much. Occasionally, would go out and do family stuff.
Where we at right now?
Yeah.
Is it 2019?
This was coming up to 2019.
Okay.
This was full-time job for you right now.
Yeah, I was an instructor at a Daoud command down at Patrick Space Force Base. So I was instructing by day and woodworking by night.
Got it.
Wow.
Like it was like I was living like that was my alter ego, woodworking man, right? And 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 I wasn't making a ton of money at the time.
Sure.
I was probably making at that point maybe an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month, if that. You know what I mean? But that was all going right back into the business.
Yeah.
It was.
Sure, that 4 or 5, that's someone's full-time job right there.
That's $1,250 a week.
But that was total sales. That wasn't profit.
Oh, okay,
that was total
okay.
sales. That wasn't profit. I should clear that up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the dude that would honestly motivate me is this guy right here.
What?
Me and this dude used to talk. I would be exhausted and I'll be on my way to.
Oh, sorry, that was cocky. I said, what? Nah, when he told me that, I was like, nah, bro, not me, bro. Come on, man.
Because he was doing his thing with Big A and like grinding, and we would just bounce off each other, and he would share his successes, and I'm like, man, like this is the first time ever I've made this much money in a month, and I was thinking, he's like, he would tell me, he's like, one day you're gonna probably quintuple, quadruple, you're gonna exceed that so much, and we're gonna look back on this day and laugh.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, God willing, and I just kept on my grind. And the days where I felt like throwing my hands up, he'd be like,
me and Will talk almost every single morning on his way to work.
Yeah.
That's
just kind of our routine.
Yeah, that's our routine. Like I'm starting my day, he's on his way to work.
Yeah.
And I talk until he gets to the the shop. And I used to always tell him, bro, you got this, bro. You got this. Like, if you think it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, bro.
It got to a point in 2019 where it was like, I got to move out of the garage. It was just too much. So I ended up partnering up with a buddy of mine who was moving from California to Florida. He had him and his wife were both retired military, and didn't want to pay the taxes in California because once you retire in California, they take it was like 33% off the top, and they just weren't willing to give up that. So they was like, we're gonna move, and he's like, hey, he hits me up and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Florida. You know, would you be okay if he's like, because he had a similar woodworking business. And he's like, do you think it'd be okay if I move to Florida and I still do the woodworking thing? I was like, bro, if you're moving to Florida, let's partner up. You know, I was like, let's partner up. Why be each other's competition when we can work together? I said, look at it this way. I much rather be a 50% owner of $1 million business.
Talk about it, bro.
Versus being 100% owner of a $65,000 business. You know, you can only do so much by yourself, right? So I just looked at it from that mindset, you know, and that was based off the talks I had with him. I was just getting hungry, you know, like watching Shark Tank. I would watch all these things just to like try to get a better understanding of business and how to kind of grow this thing. What was this thing going to be? And in 2019, me and him finally made the decision, like, yeah, we're going to partner up. He moved out, and we ended up finding a 1,300 square foot shop, and we turned it into the first Sailor-Made custom woodwork shop.
And that's in Palm Bay?
That was the first name? That was the name?
Yeah, like, Sailor-Made was the name I came up with. The day of that, I was sitting in my friend's garage.
Yeah.
I was like, we should call the business Sailor-Made.
No way.
Yeah, it came to me. Wow. I was like, Sailor-Made. It just had such a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was going to be Sailor-Made. I wanted to just be straight up Sailor-Made. And then my boy hits me up and he's like, hey, there's a company out there already that does bracelets called Sailor-Made. And I was like, well, then we'll call it Sailor-Made Custom Woodwork, so that way there's no confusion.
Sure.
And that's where the name grew from there.
Oh, that's beautiful, bro.
And we've been Sailor-Made Custom Woodworks ever since.
Love that.
Your office is in Palm Bay?
No, the office is actually now in Rockledge.
Okay.
So it's the first office we had, though, was in Melbourne. I found that 1,300 square foot, did a grand opening and everything, had all these people show up, went live. It was amazing. And it was just one of those things that, like, and I'm a man of faith, so like without praying and without answering, like just having that conversation with God, I don't even think I'd be here right now. And I remember freaking out, man, just trying to make this step from going from the garage to now having the responsibility of paying a lease every month on a property, having to worry about all the overhead that comes with that. And I'm like, man, I just went from making, a couple grand a month. Like, can this happen? And I'm just praying to God. And I just remember saying, like, God, please just talk to me, give me a sign, just tell me if let me know. And I just hear, I got you. Like,
oh wow.
I hear I got you.
That's beautiful, bro.
And I moved in that. And within the first year, we blow up. Like, I released this shadow box called it was a mermaid. It was a custom mermaid shadow box. So before we started really doing our thing, there was only one other business, which was the business that I got that Master Chief anchor from.
Right.
There's a guy by the name of Keith Durr. Shout out to Keith, because he ended up becoming kind of a mentor to me to get my business where he's at. But he had been doing similar style of shadow boxes like what I do for almost 10 years before I ever got into the game. Wow. And when I got my first CNC machine, I reached out to him and I was like, I never intended on being competition with him or anything like that. I was just planning on building coin holders and doing small stuff.
For sure.
But I started getting asked to do these shadow boxes, and I drew some inspiration, and like I was like, but I never wanted to ever come off as if I was trying to steal anyone's style or anything like that.
Respect. Yeah.
So when I had that conversation with him, he's just like, listen, man, like there's plenty of meat on the bone for everybody.
Absolutely.
He's like, if you need mentorship, I got you. Just don't ever ask me for my files. He said, he's like, I created all my own files. I had to learn this from scratch. Yeah. And I'm not going to just give that away to anybody.
I respect that.
And I respected
that.
I respected that 100%. I was like, yeah, you earned that. Like, why would I'm not going to take a shortcut. But I believe when you take shortcuts in life, you don't really learn from that, and it's easy to trip, fall, falter, and make mistakes.
Yes.
So I just used that as motivation to learn more about the software that I was using and really getting on that grind.
For sure.
And was able to create that mermaid shadow box for the first time. And when I posted that thing online, it was like strapping a rocket onto our back, because up to that point, most of the time, besides the stuff that Keith was doing, it was rectangle shadow box. You know what I mean? It was like a rectangle, and the custom cool things that he was doing, but nobody was really catering to female service members. No one went out of their way to do something, because we did that mermaid. We painted the tail, we painted the anchor, we painted her cover, painted her hair. So we made this piece of art that was just a really pretty thing, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was made for a female service
And
member.
it is beautiful, by the way. I love it, man.
We made it for a female service member, and once we posted that, it was like putting a rocket onto our back. Within a year, we were busting at the seams and couldn't work in the shop that we were in anymore. So we had to get a bigger shop. So we ended up signing a lease. Now this is March of 2020, right? Right before
The pandemic?
right before the pandemic. Like 2 weeks before the news of the pandemic came out, we had signed a lease on a 2,700 square foot shop. Pandemic hits, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like not unsure of, nobody knew what was going on at the time, and I'm like,
no.
like I'm hearing all the craziness happening outside of Florida, everybody shutting their businesses down, and I'm like, Lord, you told me you got me. So now here I am in the car complaining to God. I'm like you told me you got me. I can't believe you're doing this. Why would this happen? You said, all I hear, and I kid you not, I went from complaining to laughter in an instant, because I always feel like God will talk to you in the way that you need to be talked to. And in the middle of my complaining, all I hear is, hey, dummy, didn't I tell you I would take care of you?
I love that.
And I was like, and I went and I was like, I just started laughing. And I remember just turning on my car and driving away. And I said, Lord, I will never question you again. I am so sorry. And I just drove off. And I kid you not, we just started growing, because like all of a sudden now the military shutting down ceremonies, not allowing people to gather and all this stuff. Now you have all these people that are retiring, and they're like, I had all this money saved for my retirement to do my retirement party, and I can't do one now. And then here I am posting all this stuff on Facebook, like, well, I might as well buy a really cool shadow box. And so now I'm doing all these calls, getting all these people that are interested in our product and wanting us to create something cool and custom for them. And I'm just finding a way to grind and make it happen, learning how to draw in 3D and learning how to create these files and put them all together to create these just one of a kind, really cool shadow boxes. And man, we were off to the races. Like through COVID, I know it was a terrible time for a lot of people, but it was kind of a blessing for me and my family, because we never stopped grinding. And during that last 6 months, I had already made the decision to retire. I was retiring in September of 2020.
Sure.
And because I was at a schoolhouse, there was no requirement for to be physically at work. I had to really text good morning, still alive every morning at 8:00 for my last 6 months. I had to just text my boss, good morning, still alive. And if they needed me for a meeting, I would do a Zoom call at my desk at my shop. You know, like, oh, hey, we need you to record a video. Throw on my uniform, record a video for them, send it. They would edit it if I need to do anything. But like I could count maybe on two hands how many times they needed me in that last 6 months.
Gotcha.
So it allowed me an opportunity to focus on what my business would be like full time and put all my effort into the business and not be stressing about the military. And I was still getting my paycheck from the military all the way till I retired. So that also allowed me to sell back my leave, which all that money basically floated me until when I got my retirement check and I became 100% permanent and total disabled through the military. And because of that, I was able to sustain and take care of my family. And then I started collecting a pay. That was after I retired from the Navy, was when I finally started paying myself a paycheck from Sailor Made. And kind of fast forward to where we're at now, we were in that second shop for about 2 years, and then we moved into a 4,700 square foot shop out in Rockledge. And we just hit our 3-year mark there. And we just got another 1,500 square foot space for our front office. I haven't told anybody yet. This is the first time I'm saying it. So
as of today,
as of today.
Damn,
So
congrats.
we just moved into our new front office, and it's 3 doors down from where our production happens.
Yeah.
it's massive,
So-
bro. It's so beautiful, bro.
So yeah, so like, God has just kind of been the thing that has always, and I wasn't always I don't want to say I've always been a strong believer, because I had those struggles, man, and I just
Yeah, for sure.
I had those times where I fumbled and I messed up a lot, you know, but finding God and just meeting him right where I was at in that moment, you know, has allowed me to do so many things, man. It's put me in around so many people. I truly believe like whatever you put out into the universe will come back to you tenfold, whether that's good or bad, right? And I've always just been able to know, like, I want to surround myself with amazing, positive people that want to see me grow and succeed, you know?
For sure.
And now, because of that, just having that attitude, and even just when I was doing this business, I never wanted to build a place where people were like, "Oh, I got to go to work."
Yeah.
It was like, I get to go to work today, and people.
I love
that's
that.
that's the environment that I have.
Yeah.
Now, remember, I started in my garage. Now there's 18 of us on staff, building
Damn.
these things, sending these things
That's amazing.
all over the world. sending these things literally all over the world.
So beautiful, man.
And you know, I'm blessed enough that I only have to work Monday through Friday. I shut the weekends down because I believe in work-life balance.
Sure.
I still answer my phone. People, I'm a workaholic, but at least for my team and for my family, you know, I try to, when I'm with them, it's with them, you know, and I know I've been talking for a while, but it's been one heck of a ride for me,
bro. We haven't been talking much because the story is beautiful, bro. Like
your story,
I love it, bro. I love it, man.
And
so
that's where I'm at today.
So it's a little over 5,000 square feet now.
6,000, 6,200 square feet total.
6,200 from a garage to 6,200 square feet with 18 employees.
Yeah, 6 CNC machines.
While
lasers.
Working, sleeping 3 hours, no excuses, just grinding it out. Wife, kids, grandkids, never an excuse, bro.
Yeah.
How crazy is that, bro?
Yeah.
If you don't think this is my cousin, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You know what's crazy? His dad is my cousin, actually.
Yeah.
His dad is my cousin. But we're so close in age that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
well, that make you second cousins, right?
Yeah.
Second cousins.
Yeah. I never looked at him like that though.
By the way, this table's made by him.
Oh yeah. Yes, this table. You want to explain what this is like?
So this wood is called sapele. It's a type of mahogany.
Okay.
And when he reached out to me, he wanted a table for the podcast, and I was like, absolutely, I want to build something for you. So I pitched him the idea because he had these idea for these legs that were shaped. If you look at the legs actually shaped like the letter A.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I
saw that. I paid attention to it. I never said nothing, but I paid attention to it.
So
it was originally these legs, but they were too tall.
Okay.
Yeah,
so when we put it, I was like, nope, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
So we had them made shorter, but they're big A's.
Yeah.
Is what they are.
Yeah.
So.
And then I got into this. There's also this process called UV printing. It's an ultraviolet printer.
Okay.
And so that's actually how that image is embedded into the wood.
Okay.
So like I've always told you, I've always been about watering the business and having the business feed itself. So we got to a point where we were able to purchase this massive machine. It's a flatbed printer. It's a 5-foot by 10-foot bed that will literally print and embed an image with using an ultraviolet ink into pretty much any material. That's how they get the images onto the cans and everything. So like they can get a roller and they print right onto cans using ultraviolet printing. But I wanted to do that process for him. Yeah. And I came up with this concept and he was like, I love it. So we even got to do an unveiling video for him at the shop.
Yes, sir.
Which I wanted to show you your table.
I'm excited. Excited. Yes, sir.
All right. Present to you.
Oh, man. Dang. Oh, my God, bro. Yeah, everything. I mean, from I'm lost, bro. Damn, bro. Yeah, that's beautiful, bro. Thank you, bro.
My pleasure. If you ever look at our social media page, like those videos are our most popular videos. Where we have service members come in that never either had a chance to do a military ceremony or choosing not to, but are looking for some closure on their service, and we will basically have them come over to the shop. We cover it so they don't see it when they come in. We'll give them a tour of the shop, let them meet the team so they kind of see all the work that actually goes into creating these things. And then after that, I bring them back into what was our front office, will now become the future paint department and our video space.
Yeah.
And we'll do an unveiling. We'll thank them for their service. We'll talk a little bit about them, and then I'll unveil the shadow boxes to them. Yeah. And man, like if you want to see some like emotional moments where people are just like completely floored. Like I was just telling y'all before the podcast started, today was probably one of the top 3 moments, probably top 2 moments of just reactions. We had our first class petty officer named Hazel Sanders, and she wanted a shadow box, chose not to do a retirement ceremony. She actually drove down from Virginia, planned her vacation around coming to the shop just to get her shadow box.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So she planned her Disney vacation with her family, and basically like it's her retirement party to come and pick up the shadow box.
Wow.
And when I tell you one of the best reactions, like someone that was just so grateful, like
that's beautiful,
bawling out of control, like just really kind of, she said her words were to the extent of basically like, this embodies what 20 years, 2 months and 2 weeks of blood, sweat and tears is all embodied in this one piece of art for her. And like it really hit home. And I always tell people, like, when you're finishing a chapter in your life, there always has to be some sort of closure.
Yeah.
Right. So like helping service members get that closure. I can't tell you how often now I get calls from service members that are retired 10, 15 years ago, and they're like, hey, I didn't even want a shadow box until I saw what you guys do online.
For sure.
And like tomorrow, I have a Coast Guard captain who retired back in 2010, so 15 years ago.
Wow.
Saw our shadow boxes and wanted a custom. She's coming tomorrow, so we're gonna get to do an unveiling video for her.
Really, man. Bro.
So like it's just I think about this like a young kid from the Puerto Rican and Colombian kid from the Lower East Side who statistically probably should have ended up dead in jail, selling drugs. Of
course.
That was the environment that I lived in.
Still in the projects.
Gangs, right? Still in the projects. And nothing wrong with
nothing.
But
Of
just
course.
for me, it was just wanting to break.
But the
that cycle.
statistics are right, though. You're right about that.
Was like, hey, like this is not. It's not meant to be. Like it's not supposed to.
This
be
is the hand you're dealt, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And
It doesn't have to be that way.
here I am now, living this life. Got a beautiful wife, kids, grandkids. You know, already on my third house, purchased my third house.
Yeah.
And living where I don't ever have to worry about if I'm gonna be able to eat tomorrow. You know,
How old are you?
I'll be 45 in October, so
love
44
this.
years old. You know,
Come on, man.
there's some days where I'll just sit in my car, man, and I just throw my hands up and give thanks to God, and I'll just start crying, man, because I'm just like I feel like I don't deserve it. You know what I mean? But I'm just grateful that I get to live this life every day, that I get a chance to make a difference, even when I don't wear the uniform anymore. I'm getting a little emotional, so
Me too. Me too.
No, you're good.
But
Me too.
you know, I am just so
Because it's
grateful
true, bro.
because
It's true.
the life I live is an extraordinary one. When I look back and I replay, like if today was my last day on earth, and I look back at the reel that is my life, man, I've lived an amazing life.
Yeah, bro.
I've literally been around the world.
Yeah, bro.
I've met thousands, if not tens of thousands of people, and made a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, bro. We were just sharing texts.
Yeah.
One that you got from your
Yeah.
customer, one that I got from one of my customers.
Right.
And it's those little things, bro. Like,
Yeah.
man, homie just texted me like, yo, I just got the package. I had a really shitty day. And when I opened it up, my whole day just changed.
Yeah.
And he got one just similar to it too.
Yeah.
And you know, like, we love, that's why I tell you, like, I could retire tomorrow, bro. But I can't let this go, bro. We love what we do, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, man. It really
Because
is, bro.
I made those choices and made those sacrifices.
Yeah, bro.
I'm at a place in my life where I don't carry any debt. I don't believe in credit card. I have credit cards in case of emergency, but I do not touch them unless it's like meteor just crashed into my house. You know what I mean?
Sir.
That's the
Sir.
only time I'm
Sir.
touching a credit card. Outside of that, if I don't have the cash, I don't need it.
We talk about that all the time, me and him, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
Okay. Understanding the differences between wants and needs.
come on.
You know,
Come on, bro.
and being really financially responsible.
Yes.
And you know, I instilled that in my wife and my kids, and just wanting to be in a place where, like, if I get up in the morning and I decide I want to do something, I can do it because I have the money there. You know, perfect example was WrestleMania weekend.
Yes, sir.
So
that was so
yeah,
fire. Listen to this.
So WrestleMania 41 was in Vegas.
Wait, he's a big wrestling
I'm a
fan.
wrestling
Yeah,
nerd.
big-
Yo, I'm
Nerd.
a wrestling nerd.
Yeah.
And I'll say that proudly, right?
Yeah,
That's my thing. Some people love football, some people love I just happen to love wrestling.
Yeah.
I always have since I was a kid.
Yes.
If somebody from high school was watching, they're like, yeah, he's not lying. I used to go around Stone Cold stunning kids in high school. Like actually
it.
on my yearbook, this one dude, John Farmer, I'll never forget him. I don't know if he's still around. I haven't spoken to him.
Yeah.
God bless you if you still are. But big tall dude, man, with dreads, and cool as a fan, but like he would always mess with me, and I kick him in the shin and Stone Cold stun him in the middle of the hallway, and he'd be rolling down the hallway. So in my yearbook, he wrote, "Pick on somebody your own size." Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, like, and then my boy Alex. So him and I were just hardcore wrestling fans. So we would just go. That's literally would go around Stone Cold stunning people, doing all kinds of crazy stuff in high school. But even to this day, like, I still love watching wrestling, and I had talked to my wife about, like, hey, I really want to go to WrestleMania, and just life happens for whatever reason. Like, I wanted to go with her, and we were always so busy because she actually works at the business with me. Mm-hmm. So like she's there, and she's like she's the backbone. Like, she's always just constantly like, she's the nervous system. She knows, she knows what everything's going on in every part of the shop, and just like will constantly keep like moving pieces to make sure that everything gets out on time. Yeah. And shout out to my wife, man. She's such a hard worker, and I don't ever really give her enough credit. So you got this on film, baby.
And the kids. And the kids, man.
And my kids are super understanding.
Yeah.
Like they just know like daddy's on his grind, but they also benefit from it too.
Of course. Of course.
You know, but woke up the Friday before WrestleMania 41. So this is Easter weekend. Yeah. And I told my wife, I was like, babe, I can't shake it. I really want to go to WrestleMania. Like, and it's in Las Vegas, mind you, Sin City, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I really want to go to WrestleMania. She's like, well, if you got the money, go. Like, you deserve it. You work so hard. Like, you provide for us. She's like, behave yourself, go. You know, like literally. Like,
I love that.
Not in a sense of like she thinks I'm gonna do something, but just, you know, just saying what she can say, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got you. And I literally booked a flight at 3:00 in the afternoon. Booked the flight, hotel, bought the tickets.
On Friday?
On Friday.
On Friday.
By
So
8 p.m.
Saturday, Sunday,
by
right?
8 p.m. I was on a plane on my way to Vegas.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. He hit me up. He's like, yo, you should come with me. Oh, man, I love that, bro.
And like to have, for me, that's financial freedom. Like being able to do that and not have to put that on a credit card or not, you know, not stress about like, is my family gonna be able to eat if I do this?
Yes.
Like that's peace of mind.
Well, put it on the credit card because we need those points.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, for me, I don't ever want to. I don't really care for points. I don't care about it. He leverages points like crazy.
Oh yeah,
he's an animal with
I'm a point man, bro. I'll swipe a soda. $3.
Points, you get them free
I got the
flights.
cash now. Amex. Nigga, I'll take my 1%. Yeah.
So was able to like go out to Vegas. I literally flew out. It was crazy. Like and it's weird when you buy last minute tickets. Sometimes you come across some really great deals.
Of course.
So I was able to stay at the it was the Virgin Hotel, which is the old Hard Rock, just right off the strip. I ended up getting a suite for $300 for the whole weekend.
Damn.
So I was in their Ruby Tower. The bathroom was bigger than my first apartment. Like I kid you not. Like it was freaking amazing.
That's what's up.
And
it was meant to be. Bro. It was meant to be.
Got out there, got tickets to, and I had enough money left over. I was able to go and I went and saw the NXT pay-per-view that was there. It was freaking phenomenal. And then went to night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania. And I had my NXT seats were pretty much front row. I was 3 rows from the stage. My kids saw me on TV. That's cool. So like which was really crazy.
That's cool.
My wife joking, she's like, I wish I could make you smile like that, you know?
I love that, bro. I love that.
You know, and then for WrestleMania, like I had gone to one WrestleMania before when I was stationed in California, and it was in California. It was like 2016. Right. But this was just different because I knew already I didn't want to be on the floor because everybody stands up and it blocks your view. Yeah. So I was right at that first 100 level, right above the floor.
Nice.
And I was 4, maybe 5 rows in, and dude, just an amazing 2 days, man. I got to reconnect with my cousin Jonathan, you know, who's an amazing sushi chef, and like I look back, man, and I think like, damn, we got a talented family, bro. Like,
bro, we do, bro.
So
we have a cousin who's stationed out in Denver.
Yeah, in Colorado.
His name is Jeffrey Rodriguez, and bro, he had a business called Latin Artist.
Yeah.
Nasty, bro. He's an amazing artist, bro. His airbrushing, his drawing is just next level, bro.
Like he can picture it and draw it.
Yeah,
like he's on another level.
We always say, yo, if the 3 of us were ever like in the same town, everybody just shut down, bro. Just shut down.
I joked about it during my retirement. I said we'd have gold-plated cats we'd be petting, you know?
Yeah, it would be game over, bro. Like it would be a real problem, bro. I'm telling you, we will put you out of business. It would be a real problem because the 3 of us together would be crazy, bro. Crazy. But Will, man, it's been a pleasure, bro. I've wanted to have you on here from day one, but now we're getting a little bit of motion, bro. And timing was perfect, and we do it on God's timing, bro. And
appreciate it.
I love you, bro. And thank you
guys.
Bro, for real. Bro.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, bro.
Appreciate you.
For us was a good one.
Yeah.
Last thing, shout yourself
Oh,
out.
yeah.
All your socials, everything.
Absolutely, bro.
All right, so if you want to follow us and check out what we do, go on to Facebook. It's SailorMade Custom Woodworks, and on Instagram it's SailorMade CWW, TikTok SailorMade CWW, and on YouTube SailorMade CWW.
Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Remember something. There's no change if there's no change.
Think about it.
Let's go, baby.